Hey everyone, I just wanted to check in with you again today. I just finished scoring the connection steps for the timeline assignment. There are a couple of you that have not submitted to the timeline in any way yet, and if that is the case, please let me know if you're having any issues that I can help out with, so that we make sure everybody is able to complete all of that work there. In terms of the connection steps, most of them were very good at drawing connections between specific events that were either included on the timeline or not. Remember that I mentioned that if there isn't something posted to the timeline that clearly connects to your ID post, you can choose something to connect to that hasn't been posted to the reading yet, or excuse me, to the timeline yet. So you'll find those kinds of things in the readings and the videos. I would rather that you make a meaningful connection than try to um, sort of just make it work um, for something that doesn't really connect. Along the same lines, several of us were making comparisons rather than connections, and so I was trying to emphasize in the feedback what the difference there is. Comparisons are what's similar, what's different, how are these two things alike. Connections, though, we're looking for events, people, themes, places that actually had relevance to each other at the time frame that we're looking at. Um, so for example, the ancestral Puebloan people, a post on those people would connect directly to Chaco Canyon because those people lived in Chaco Canyon. And then you can, when you do your connection, explain what the significance of having a site like Chaco Canyon to live in was to the ancestral Puebloan people and their culture. That's a connection rather than a comparison. Also, there are ways that you can make connections that aren't that direct. So, for example, if you were wanting to make a connection between Hernan Cortez and Coronado, those two men, there isn't a clear, direct connection between them in terms of history. They didn't know each other. They didn't lead the same. They led similar expeditions, but that way is a comparison. Something they did do that was the same, though, is that they both used indios amigos, or relied on indigenous allies to wage their conquests. So that would be a common thread that is a thread of connection between the two, saying, again, both of them relied on indigenous allies in order to make their conquests, and this is why indigenous allies were so important for both of these and for the entire conquest of New Spain. That one, it doesn't just compare, but it kind of takes it that step further and says this is a connection. These are things not only that were similar, but that were equally significant, or even that played out in slightly different ways in these two cases. So um, hopefully that makes sense um, and helps with that distinction. I wanted to also remind you that you should post your connections to the timeline. So add just that connection paragraph at the end of what you've already posted for your ID post. Remember to post it to your post, not to the other persons that you're connecting to. And then finally, just a reminder about the discussion board. A couple of you have made initial posts on some discussions. Remember, of the 9 options that are there, the 9 numbered options on the discussion board, you need to complete 4 of those by the end of the intersession. So, like it or not, even though we're just ending Unit 2, the intersession is going to be over pretty quick. Today is the first day of Unit 3, as you know, and we just don't have much time. So please don't forget those, don't let them go. Make sure that you are also working on those discussion posts as well. Over the next hour or so, I'll be working on providing feedback on your journals and hopefully interacting with you a little bit on Twitter. So I look forward to that. And as always, let me know if you have any questions.